children or chickens, something gets them. You've been charged with their keep. You've made this promise to your chicken that you will try to keep them safe, and so you'll beat them. You'll beat something to death. It'll make you. It'll make you not. You will not be able to join PETA. You'll be barred. They'll know instinctively that you've gone to the dark side. But there's just something in you. You'll protect them. So I thought, well, I was exhausted emotionally and everything. I've just killed something. It was awful. And I had a dead chicken here, and another one had blood running. It's just emotionally destroying. So I thought, I'll deal with it in the morning. Like going with the wind. Tomorrow is another day. So I went back in, and I came out the next morning. And the possum was gone. And I didn't know how it got in, and I don't know how it got out, but it was gone. I'd given it a headache, I'm sure, but it was gone. So that's what happens to you when you have chickens. Now, on predators, are there any questions about your particular predator? Yes.
Do you know owls will crawl chicken house?
Well, I don't. They might. They sure might. I don't think they would. But a hawk will. Springdale just had that. Now that was in the daytime. How an owl is a night creature. They would eat a chicken if it was out. The thing is that if you only have 4 chickens or 6 chickens, you can account for everybody. Everybody's there. You close the gate. The problem here is that sometimes when I close them up, there's somebody still out. And I'll call and call, but last night was terrible. Of course, that's because it was cold and windy, and I had to be punished. And they were all out, and so I'm getting the boss chicks are sitting on top of the roof, and so I have to go in and beat up on the roof and get them off. Boss chicks all get down, then they go and get in their cage, embarrassed that they were so bad. But then I'm getting ready to lock up, and I hear chickens muttering, and they had gone into the well house here, and the wind had closed the gate, so they couldn't get out, and it was getting dark, so they couldn't see well enough to know they could fly out. So then I opened the gate, and they said, "Oh my God, where have you been?" They were so relieved, they just ran over there and got in. But if they'd stayed in there, that would have been a situation where an owl or any night creature, they would have been gone. Because, something had gotten in there and not even seen my night guard lights. So that's the problem. Leaving one out, it's a miracle to see them alive the next day. But hopefully. So that would be when an owl would get them if they were out. But I've never seen an owl go. Yes, ma'am. What is what? Oh, yes. Well, possums just love eggs. In fact, a possum, I hate to say all this, but a possum will eat the egg before it's laid. You can figure that out. You'll have a dead hen. All it wanted was the egg. Animals are smart. We're not the only smart things that live. That the possum will go for the egg wherever it might be, in the nest, on the ground, in the hen. And so, yeah, they will. And snakes, of course, will eat eggs. I'm a real fan of snakes. I really don't like ever to kill a snake. And I've had 1 or 2 chicken snakes, and one, it's always a shock when you see the snake curled up in the hen box, But I just kind of urged it on, and it went away. It didn't come back for some reason. Didn't like the eggs, I guess. But a snake will swallow all your eggs, and then go and find a fence post or something, and then wrap around that and break the eggs in its body. And that's how they consume them. Otherwise, that's the problem when people do these nest eggs, and they ingest one of those ceramic nest eggs, or whatever they're made of, quartz, or marble or whatever. That egg's gone. That snake is gone. He'll never be able to crack that egg. So if you want to get rid of a snake, that's what you do. If you're having a snake problem, you put that hard egg in it. Pretty cruel. I'm telling you, y'all are going to be searching your souls pretty soon. Any other predator questions? Yes, ma'am. No, the chickens will probably avoid it. You might put it in your compost pile. I've got one kind of percolating back in my compost pile back. And now I didn't kill it though, because I haven't had any predators. But one just was dead out there for some reason, and ate my vegetables, I guess. But so I put him in the compost pile, and he's making good compost pile back in the. Yes. I would build them a little run so they can get out in sunshine. Now, after a week, it won't have anything growing in it, unless you do a mobile, a chicken tractor. I mean, there used to be stuff growing all in here. After 2 weeks, nothing. It's all right. A run like this is still very valuable because there's roaches and there's bugs, there's worms, there's all this stuff. There's minerals and grit to eat, and so they get a lot of stuff out of even a run like this. But you're leaving your chickens out during the day. I've done it, but I always worry about it because you just don't know. Now here they've got a place they can get away from something. If you've got a small yard, something could run them down and finally get them in your yard while you're gone. My chickens get out every single afternoon, but I'm here. And of course, such a mass of them, I ought to let them out right now. That'd be entertaining, wouldn't it? Oh my God, it's a stampede. Yes, ma'am. Scare the hawks away. That's a good question because I came out just the other day because we have all these hawks now, and I came out the other day and there was a hawk right up in the top of this tree. And Rusty hadn't seen it yet. I don't know how he missed it. But I clapped my hands real loudly and started running. And then he went, whatever the word that means hawk. And all of them just suddenly went back into the hen house, just running like crazy to get out undercover. Because undercover is what will save them from a hawk, generally. Except Springdale had a hawk that flew into basically her run. And then the hawk walked right into the hen house. And they caught it. Thank goodness. But if they hadn't caught it, the hawk would have gotten a bird in there. So hawks need to stay on the rats and squirrels, I think. Yes.
It's not any kind of good deterrent for hawks?
Not really. I mean, you could hang baubles in the trees, but they'll just say, oh, another bauble. I mean, nothing works. The figs are at the mercy of everything, so everybody says, hang CD discs in the fig tree. Oh, well, that'd be attractive. And it wouldn't do anything. I mean, these animals are too smart. But hawks will get your things if they're out running around. I was out in the back field one time with Aunt Penny, my very best friend ever, who died at the age of 6 from worms. We'll get into that. We were out in the middle of the field. She'd go out and work with us every day, and all of a sudden she froze, and we were too far back. If we'd been a little closer, she would have left me there to deal with that hawk and run back to the trees. But she knew it was too far. And so I picked her up, and she started growling. Just a growl. And I picked her up real quick. And normally chickens do not want to be picked up, and Aunt Penny was very fussy about that. I picked her up, she didn't complain at all, and we just stood there until that hawk was gone, and then went on about our business. Kept working. I was doing hoeing, so of course I was finding worms for her, so she's very attentive. But a hawk is, they're always circling around looking for something. Any other questions on predators? It might work for 1 minute. When they find out it doesn't do anything, I mean, all that stuff is it just doesn't work. They're too smart. I mean, if that crow doesn't move, if it's there tomorrow in the same place, they're going to figure it out. Any other predator questions? Yes. No, thank God, no. Oh, one thing we don't have, just dogs. I have their relatives. Yeah, the coyote, I think that the nightlight might work for that. But, you got to make it really pretty for them, and you can't ever leave them out. I mean, if they're going to get your cats, they're going to get your chickens, too. Oh, well, dogs might keep them off. Yeah. Oh, dogs will be over. Yeah, dogs will be over for your chickens. Oh, it's horrible. I mean, everybody loves dogs, but, they're not real compatible with chickens. Yes. I've never worried about that a second. A lot of that bird flu stuff has to do with horrible conditions on birds in the Asian areas in general, and also it's eggs are infected, and over there they sell eggs. They sell fertile eggs all over the place, and that's a good way that bird flu can be transmitted. And I don't know.